America must lead in semiconductors because chip leadership means leadership in AI, advanced manufacturing, national security. I think the list goes on and on. I think the record here makes clear that the United States still has major strengths in design, equipment, and innovation. The goal should be to expand domestic capacity, strengthen supply chains, and make sure more of the semiconductor ecosystem is built here at home. But we can't necessarily trade one policy or industry at the expense of another. We have to balance those interests for the sake of our economy, our workforce, and our global competitiveness. Mr. Oxman, everybody agrees AI is driving demand, but families in the district that I represent experience semiconductor issues through car prices, appliances, broadband equipment, electric bills. How should Congress balance frontier AI goals with everyday consumer impact?
I appreciate the question, Congressman Fry, and you're absolutely right that there is a great amount of market demand for semiconductors for both logic chips and memory chips today. And the good news is the renaissance in manufacturing that we've been talking about today is designed to address that demand. It is a marketplace need for more supply, and we're absolutely working on that across the industry. I also think it's important to note that the semiconductors that we've been talking about today, in many cases, are advanced semiconductors that are going to power the AI stack of tomorrow, but they're also foundational chips that we need to invest in more in the United States as well, that go into cars and appliances and washing machines and the like. And we're doing that as well. There's manufacturing happening for foundational chips at the same time. So all that to say that you're absolutely right. We do need to invest in more manufacturing capability here in the United States to address that demand, to make sure consumers can access the products and services that they want and need.
What do you think that semiconductor resilience looks like from the perspective of a local hospital, a small manufacturer, or a family maybe buying a car, not just from the perspective of a hyperscaler? What do you think that looks like?
You're absolutely right to bring that up, Congressman, because I think we saw during the pandemic that lack of access to semiconductors had impacts beyond what we might normally think about. We think about semiconductors, we think about mobile phones, we think about devices like laptops and PCs. But you're highlighting what really happened during the pandemic, which was auto manufacturers couldn't finish their cars. They were sitting outside the manufacturing facility.
Buy it today and come back next month, maybe.
Right, because they couldn't get the chips to put in the cars.
Right.
So I think you're right to highlight that it really, from my perspective, is a really important component of this discussion. It is absolutely about the chips of tomorrow. It's absolutely about powering American AI dominance. But it's also about making sure that we don't have the same problem we had during the pandemic, where we don't have the domestic supply of chips necessary to power all the other devices we need to.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, as they say. What policy choice do you think would best help both national competitiveness and consumers at the same time? Would this be more packaging capacity, faster permitting, workforce development, grid upgrades? Like, what do you think would really drive this home?
Well, those are all great
Tax
ideas.
incentives.
If I only have to pick one, I'll pick tax policy.
Okay.
Because I think tax policy has been enormously important to encouraging investing in the United States in manufacturing capability. We have the advanced manufacturing tax credit that is slated to expire at the end of this year, and that would be a disaster for manufacturers. We also need to make sure that that tax policy extends not only to the manufacturing itself, but also to the research and design that goes into semiconductors. I think that would go a long way. But you're absolutely right to highlight all those other issues. We need more investment in the electric grid. We need upgrades that can make the transmission capability available to these advanced manufacturing plants that are going in as well. A lot of other great work and a lot of other great ideas to move forward.
Thank you for that. Mr. Grebe, is it Greb or Grebe?
Grebe.
Grebe, okay. I just don't want to butcher that.
Appreciate that.
So, sir, would you agree with that? Tax policy may be the most salient in all
I
of
would.
this?
If we had one vote today, it would be around the AMIC extension going forward.
Okay. From the perspective of, in your written testimony, you argue that America must build out more domestic AI-enabled infrastructure, enabling infrastructure. What specific federal actions would accelerate that build-out in your mind?
I think the three things that we continue to come back around are AMIC tax extension, very specialized tariff relief to import tools and equipment and chemicals that we need to build manufacturing here in the United States, and then an acceleration of some of the minerals getting qualified here in the United States from the TSCA perspective, Right now, we're a very laborious process and a very expensive process to get new chemicals qualified here in the United States. We'd like to see that get shortened to more competitive ranges.
Appreciate that. Mr. Chairman, I see my time is up, and with that, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.